Right now, roughly 1 in 5 people alive will experience a major depressive episode in their lifetime. Among hunter-gatherers who still live the way humans lived for 300,000 years, that number is close to 0. Something we built changed the human mind, and it wasn't an accident. Picture a Hadza man in northern Tanzania right now. He finished his work for the day before most of us finish breakfast. He's napping in the shade. Later, he'll sit with his family and laugh more in one afternoon than most of us laugh with ours in a week. Anthropologists have lived among people like him for decades, and they keep writing down the same strange observation. They can barely find anyone who looks depressed. So what's actually going on here? Either these people got extraordinarily lucky, or were the ones living the experiment gone wrong. Start with the brain itself, because it wasn't built in a lab or an office. It was built around a fire, over 300,000 years, inside a very specific set of conditions. And when you strip those conditions away, one at a time, something breaks. The first piece is people. Not a few people. A specific number. Anthropologists studying hunter-gatherer bands have found the same figure again and again, somewhere close to 150 people your brain can actually hold as real relationships, faces with full histories attached. That's not a guess. It's now called Dunbar's number, and it lines up almost exactly with the size of a traditional hunting camp. For 300,000 years, everyone you had ever met, you knew completely. Your grandmother slept a few feet from your children. Every joke, every grudge, every kindness moved through a small, closed circle that never let you disappear. Now count how many of your 800 online friends would notice if you vanished for a week. That's the gap. Loneliness researchers have a specific term for what happens in it. Chronic loneliness raises your risk of an early death by roughly the same margin as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Your body doesn't know the difference between being cut off from a village and being cut off from a group chat. It reacts to isolation the same way it always has, like a threat to survival. The second piece is sunlight, and this one is almost embarrassingly simple. Hunter-gatherers spend most of daylight hours outside. Their bodies get flooded with a very specific, very bright kind of light every single morning, and that light does something your brain depends on. It sets your internal clock. It tells your body when to release cortisol to wake you up and when to release melatonin to put you down. Break that signal, and the whole system drifts. Most people in industrialized countries now get less bright light in an entire week than a hunter-gatherer gets in a single morning. We wake up under weak indoor light, sit under more weak indoor light for 8 or 9 hours, then stare into a screen that specifically mimics daylight at the exact hour we're supposed to be winding down. Sleep researchers have watched this play out in real time. When modern people go camping with no artificial light for just 1 week, their sleep timing shifts back into the ancient pattern almost immediately, and their reported mood improves along with it. The fix isn't exotic. It's a signal your biology has been waiting for the whole time. The third piece is motion, and here the gap gets almost absurd. A Hadza hunter might walk close to 10 miles hunting an animal that gets away. Hadza women, who provide more than half the camp's calories, walk and dig and climb for hours nearly every day, well into their 60s and 70s. Estimates put daily movement for hunter-gatherers somewhere around 9 to 10 miles, not as exercise, just as living. Compare that to an average adult today, who might take fewer than 4,000 steps before collapsing onto a couch that was specifically engineered for collapsing. Physical activity is one of the most consistently proven treatments for depressive symptoms in the entire body of psychological research, sometimes performing close to medication in mild to moderate cases. Your ancestors weren't taking their steps for their mental health. Their mental health was a side effect of a life that simply required moving. Here's the twist that changes how you should think about all of this. It's not that ancient humans were happier because life was easier. Life for a hunter-gatherer was frequently brutal. Close to 4 out of every 10 children didn't survive to age 15. People starved in bad seasons. People died from infections that a modern antibiotic would clear in a week. Nobody is arguing you should trade your life for theirs. The real difference is that their brains and their environment were built for each other. Every stressor they evolved to survive, a predator, a hunger, a rival, showed up, got resolved, and ended. Your stress response today rarely gets to finish. The email that made your heart race at 9 a.m. is still technically unresolved at midnight. Ancient stress had a shape. It began, it peaked, and it was over. Modern stress just hums in the background, unresolved, for years. There's a researcher, Marshall Solins, who looked at all this evidence back in the 1960s and called early humans the original affluent society. He didn't mean they had wealth. He meant they had almost none of it, and it barely mattered, because what they had instead was enough time, enough closeness, enough daylight, and enough motion to keep a human brain running the way it was designed to run. We didn't lose our minds. We changed the entire environment those minds evolved for, and kept the minds exactly the same. You are still, biologically, a hunter-gatherer. Your nervous system is still listening for 150 familiar faces, still waiting for real sunlight to set its clock, still expecting a body in motion for most of the day. It doesn't know it's 2026. It's running 300,000-year-old software on hardware nobody upgraded, in an environment nobody consulted it about. That anxious feeling with no clear cause, that flatness at the end of a long scrolling evening, might not be a malfunction at all. When it finally notices how far it's drifted from the fire, it might be exactly what a very old, very well-built brain is supposed to feel like,